Council special meeting began on Tuesday, September 15, 2020, here in council chambers. Once again, if you're interested, a citizen wishing to participate in citizen communications, you can call 773-1111, ask for Imelda Rodriguez, or just email her at irodriguez@eaglepasstx.us. At this time, we'll take establishment of quorum with all members of council being present. Thank you, everybody. We'll go on to a moment of reverence, and once again, for our service members serving not only here but abroad as well and all over the world, protecting our rights, our freedoms and liberties, and also for the first responders that are on the front lines right now of this COVID-19 pandemic. And we ask you to keep them in your thoughts and your prayers. Thank you. Moving on to citizens' communications and recognitions.
None submitted, Mayor.
Well, I'm going to get up and give one because I have to highlight Brissy Mauricio. Today is her birthday, and she's battling leukemia. She's a student at Eagle Pass Junior High, and so I told you all a couple of weeks ago I signed up for that 500 miles to bring awareness to childhood cancers. And Brissy is one of our strong fighters who is battling leukemia in our community. So Brissy, on behalf of the City Council, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Brissy.
Happy birthday, Lucy.
We know you're going to get through this, and we're going to keep praying and pushing for you. And I'm almost halfway on my 500 miles. So 15 more days, I should be able to get it. And I want to thank everybody that's donated. We started off with a goal of 500, and we actually got over 1,000. So at this time, anybody that's battling, you know, you can contact me, and you know, we got to give you that recognition, because the strongest fighters are the young kids who are battling cancer. God bless you, Brissy. All right, moving on to ordinances. Third and final reading of an ordinance approving and adopting the budget of the City of Eagle Pass, Texas for the 2020-21 fiscal year and establishing procedures of formal approval by September 15, 2020. That's today, right?
Yes, it is.
Finding that the meeting at which this ordinance is passed is open to the public as required by law, providing a severability clause and establishing an effective date. Jesse,
Mayor, Council,
you got it?
Yes, so there's really no presentation to give to council because the numbers are the same from the last meeting. We have incorporated all of the requests and the last motions made by council at the last meeting.
Yesterday.
So there's really no new information to present. I do want to take the time to thank the council for, it's been a long process. It's been a lot of time invested to put this budget together. It's been a very difficult year putting it together, but you know, as a team, we were able to make it through. So you know, I thank each and every one of you in our departments for helping us and making those sacrifices to get us through to this next fiscal year. Unless there's any other questions, our recommendation would be to approve the ordinance.
Is there a motion? Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Davis, second by Councilwoman Ramon. I'd just like to say, Jesse, you know, finance, administration, directors, you always come together, but this year with everything going on, you all really had to tighten your belts, and you all were able to pull this off in light of a $3.5 million shortfall in revenues. And really, we started at $7 million shortfall with everything that was, you know, initially going to be requested. And so, directors, I can't thank you all enough for coming together, you know, really identifying what the needs were versus maybe some of the wants, and holding off for another year for some of those other things that you would like to have and can possibly need. But you all had to make some drastic decisions, and we appreciate that. And I know the taxpayers appreciate it, because at the end of the day, we're going to be able to provide the services that our citizens are accustomed to without affecting the services. And, you know, we'll tighten our belts this year, and we're hoping that hopefully Monday the restrictions start lifting and we can start seeing a little more economic impact in our community that's going to benefit not only the businesses but the whole community. So thank you very much for that hard work. I know it was long hours, a lot of discussions, so a lot of hearing from me, and I know, I'm sure council was calling you all also, so thank you, thank you, thank you. And at this time, we'll take it to a vote. A motion by Mayor Pro Tem Davis, second by Councilwoman Ramon. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Unanimous. Thank you, Jesse.
I guess, Mayor, we should just add to that for the employees that are watching or are going to watch this, because I'm sure they will. You know, they are interested in knowing what's going to happen. We have not forgotten, you know, about an increase. We're waiting to see. A lot of it has to do with what happens on Monday. You know, we are heartbroken, I want to say, you know, the whole council, because this is something that we wanted to do. Unfortunately, we can't right now, but we will as soon as it's possible. You know, as soon as it's possible, hopefully, once the bridge opens, things will go back to normal for us, you know, whatever normal might be. Hopefully, it's better than normal, you know? And so that's something that we will consider then, definitely.
Yeah, I agree. But these employees definitely deserve that and more. So, like you say, as soon as things are good, hopefully we can do that.
Moving on to item number 2, consideration and ratification of the property tax revenue increase as reflected on the adopted City of Eagle Pass budget for fiscal year 2020-2021. Is that you also, Jess?
Yes.
Okay.
So just to clarify, and I did make a comment at a previous meeting, this is a state requirement to specify that the budget does include more property tax revenue. That does not mean the property tax rate is increasing. It just means that there's more revenue than there was last year. And that's a combination of higher appraisals and new construction.
Yeah.
So just to comply with that requirement, we do have to disclose that we are making more property tax revenue than the previous year.
And so the motion on this item would be to ratify the property tax revenue increase reflected in the budget, which totals a tax rate of 0.540743 per $100, value for tax year 2020.
I so moved this, but I do want to request, I guess, is there any way that we can say this in Spanish for our audience that does not speak English? I know we don't have to, but just out of courtesy.
La moción sería para
Ratificar.
ratificar. I had it, it just wasn't coming. Right. Para ratificar
Los impuestos de
los
propiedad.
impuestos. You want to do it?
Para ratificar los impuestos de propiedad que reflejan un aumento. Ahora, el aumento no es del porcentaje de taxes, el aumento es porque hay construcciones nuevas
Exacto.
y porque el avalúo de los terrenos han subido, pero nada más, no significa ningún aumento en los taxes.
No, así es, correcto.
Okay.
Que se-
Okay, y el rate ese es de 0.540743 por cada valor, por el valor de cada $100 a la propiedad, ¿ok? Volvemos a repetir, no es un aumento en los taxes.
No.
Es un aumento en general a la ciudad por las construcciones nuevas que se están haciendo en la ciudad. Eso es algo bueno para nosotros, ¿ok? No va a afectar ningún dólar de nadie. Gracias.
Thank you from,
Go
go.
ahead, second that, but I'm just gonna go with what was said in English and Spanish.
So you made the motion, Yolanda?
Yeah.
Yes.
Councilwoman Ramon, motion by Councilwoman Ramon, second by Mayor Pro Tem Davis. Any discussion?
No.
No? All right, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. Unanimous. Moving on to item number 3, third and final reading of an ordinance levying a tax rate for the City of Eagle Pass for the tax year 2020, finding that the meeting at which this ordinance is passed is open to the public as required by law, providing a severability clause and establishing an effective date. Maria?
Okay, the tax rate will remain the same, which is .54743. It won't be an increase in the tax rate this year.
And so the motion on this one will be the move that the property tax rate be increased by the adoption of a tax rate of .054743 per $100, which is effectively a 1.3% increase in the tax rate. Okay, and that's a result of the construction and everything from the previous
Yes.
one. Okay,
So moved.
so
Second.
motion made by Councilwoman Ramon.
Second.
Second by Councilman Salinas. Any discussions? Once again, the tax rate for the city of Eagle Pass remains the same. The increases are in property values and new construction, new buildings. So, any further discussion?
Just to clarify that we're not the ones that do the valuations,
That's
it's
correct.
beyond our control. So
Yes.
we have no control, but we do welcome the added construction and the growing of our tax base, and we do appreciate it.
And, you know, that's one of the things we continue to see in our community. We're still seeing some growth and, you know, construction going on, so that's a good sign, and we're hoping that, you know, that continues in the next couple of months
Right,
as
'cause
well.
there have been new businesses as well as rooftops constructed,
Yes.
so that's what adds to our tax base increasing.
Hopefully in the future with this alliance that the people that were here yesterday, Mr. Lipson and the rest of them, we get even more
Yeah.
construction, more industry coming in. That would be awesome.
Maria, am I gonna read this part too? Just for the public to know, .337031 per $100 is for the purpose of maintenance and operation. 0.203712 per $100 is for the payment of principal and interest on debt of the city, totaling to 0.540743 per $100 for the total tax rate for 2020, which is the same as last year.
Yes, sir.
All right. So we do have a motion and a second.
And just for the record, this is the third and final reading. of
This is the
ordinance.
third and final reading. So motion and second. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Unanimous. Moving on to item, thank you, Maria.
Thank you.
Once again, everybody did a great job. And moving on to item number 4, third and final reading of an ordinance changing the zoning district classification of Samuel S. Sanders Survey 26, Abstract 3301 El Indio Highway from R2 Second One Family Dwelling District to B3 General Business District, finding that the meeting at which this ordinance is passed is open to the public as required by law, providing a severability clause, and establishing an effective date. Does Placido have anything to add on this one?
No, Mayor, nothing to add?
Everything's in order, ready to go?
Yes, sir.
All right,
I move to approve.
so a motion
Second.
to approve by Mayor Pro Tem Davis, second by Councilwoman Ramon. Any other questions? Now we'll take it to a vote. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Unanimous. Moving on to resolutions, item number 5, consideration and possible approval of a resolution declaring the official holidays for the city of Eagle Pass for fiscal year 2020-2021. They didn't put any dates here.
It's on the tax.
It's on the,
It's on the tax.
They left the dates out there.
It's because they're not getting any.
We just want to make sure,
So moved, they deserve them.
are they aligned with the,
yes, with the.
With the holiday.
with the-
okay.
They're all better
Are they
holidays.
aligned? Okay.
Yes.
All right.
So
So,
Second.
motion by Councilwoman Ramon, second by Councilman Salinas. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Unanimous. Moving on to item number 6, consideration and possible approval of a resolution granting an exemption from the monthly garbage and rubbish collection fee for persons 65 years of age or older, or disabled veterans whose homestead residences are located within the city limits of the city of Eagle Pass, as indicated on the tax rolls of the city for fiscal year commencing October 1st, 2020, and ending September 30th, 2021. George?
Council Mayor, basically the ordinance or the resolution actually just, explains itself, but we're looking at doing this resolution to go ahead and go through the next fiscal year and offering this service to those that are 65 years or older, disabled veterans whose homesteads are located within the city of Eagle Pass.
So moved. Ms.
Motion
Ramon.
made by Councilman Salinas, second by Councilwoman Ramon. Any further discussion?
I think that's something great. I
Yeah.
hope,
You know, this is one way we help the elderly that are retired for the most part and living off a fixed income, and also our disabled veteran. You know, it's something that we do, and, there's other things that we can look at. Those are discussions we'll be having to make sure that our veterans in particular receive the services that they deserve after defending our freedoms and liberties wherever they may have served, and many of them in times of war. And we continue to have more and more, especially with the current wars that are going on. So it's something, a small token of appreciation from the city, and well deserved. So,
Thank you.
any further discussion? All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Unanimous. Moving on to item number 7, consideration and possible approval of a resolution declaring surplus certain property owned by the city of Eagle Pass. That you just? No,
Well-
another?
Well, yes, this is done in conjunction between finance and our city secretary department. This is in an efforts to dispose of obsolete material, equipment, and other supplies. We have a program to declare these items as surplus, and this resolution gives the city manager the authority to make this decision. Normally, they're sold to the best cost or donated to nonprofit organizations.
So
So
moved.
moved. Ms. Ramon?
Motion
Move
made
to
by
council.
Councilman Ramon, second by Councilman Salinas.
Yes.
Did you motion? All right. Any further discussion? None being-
Claro.
Right, motion second?
Motion second, whatever.
All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Unanimous. Moving on to other business. Item number 8, consideration and possible action on the final plat of Abuelita Acres Ranch subdivision. Anything on that, Placido?
Yes, Mayor, let me get you the details on this item. Trying to pull it up on the screen now. Okay. This item is for the final plat. You may recall when we brought for the preliminary plat approval, there's going to actually be 2 items back to back on this one that are going to be very same by the same owner. In the Hopedale area, this is being presented by Amistad Consulting Services. And this one named Abuelita Acres is a 2.86 acre partition, requesting final plat approval. They have gone through the full process and complied with all the requests from the various departments and Waterworks who reviewed it. It's a lot accessible by Mela Garcia Road. Are you able to see the screen share there?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm showing the plat drawing there. And then here's an aerial map to show the location, the proximity. It is outside the city limits. You'd access it through Del Rio Boulevard, the second entrance that you can get to Oakdale through, which is Road 1589. And a couple other key points to mention. It is within the 5-mile ETJ. The site will not have access to a fire hydrant system, but Fire Marshal approved a tank system that they would be able to connect to in case of an emergency in order to provide fire remediation. So the recommendation from the Planning Department, or the Planning and Zoning Commission, is to grant the final plan approval with a variance to plat the property that's less than 5 acres. That was conveyed prior to 1984, grant the sidewalk waiver, being that there are no sidewalks in that area and it would not serve its purpose, and to grant the approval of the final plat, subject to it complying with Chapter 23 of the City of Eagle Pass Code of Ordinances. Any questions on this item?
No, and the recommendation is to approve the final plat?
So moved.
Can you see the
Oh, go ahead.
variances
Yes,
again
sir.
that he was asking about? Can you read the
Sidewalk.
variances?
What are the variances, Placido? The sidewalk and what?
Being a property less than 5 acres, a subdivision less than 5 acres.
It's just those 2.
This is like, my concern is if it's ever like developed around and there's sidewalks, are they gonna be, what's gonna happen then?
Well, this area is, you go into
It's highly
Hopewell, or you go to,
unlikely.
what was that place that was out there?
Woody's.
Woody's, yeah. So there is no,
There shouldn't be any, okay, I just wanted to make sure because I couldn't remember the area, but now that you're telling me, okay. No, that's fine.
so the recommendation is to approve. Motion by Councilwoman Ramon,
We need a second.
A second.
second by Councilman Elias. Any other questions? None being, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. Unanimous. Moving on to item number 9, consideration and possible action on the final plat of Martinez Ranch subdivision.
Yes, Mayor, so on this one, it's gonna sound almost, exact duplicate of the previous, the same owner being, represented by Amistad Consulting. The only difference, this one is, has a developed property, that is where the owner currently resides. It does have a home, which you can see on your screen. But it's also access to Mela Garcia Road. This one is just slightly larger, at just over 3 acres. Apologize, my screen just jumped on me.
On this one, he's not breaking up the acreage. The purpose was just to get the city water.
So on both of them, he's platting them. They have not been platted before. And part of our ordinance requires this property to be platted in order to receive city water services, which is what he was seeking to do. And so both of these, he's going through the platting process in order to be able to do that on both, to get the water service.
And the recommendation is to approve.
And yes, the same thing on this one. The recommendation is to approve, and just trying to get to the screen here. Again, it is property less than 5 acres, so it does require variance to plat a subdivision less than 5 acres. It was conveyed prior to 1984. Also, the sidewalk waiver comes into play here as well, if they're very near each other in the same area. And then 3, that we do grant the final plat approval subject to them complying with Chapter 23 of the Code of Ordinances governing procedures on and specifications on final plat.
And these are, did we understand correct, they're next,
No, they're not next to each other.
not
They're
next to each
separate.
other? Totally different?
They have one, and they divide it into 2, and then there's a property in between, and then there's another one.
Oh, when I was looking at that, it was.
Here, he's just trying to get, they're just trying to get the water.
Uh-huh.
But to get the
So
water,
moved.
because it's less than 5 acres, they had to
They have
plat.
to do that.
Other people that have gotten the water have not had to plat because they had more than 5 acres.
Mhm.
So that's why they had to do it.
So moved.
I'll second that.
Motion made by Councilwoman Ramon, second by Mayor Pro Tem Davis. Any other question? All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Unanimous. Moving on to item number 10, consideration and possible approval of an agreement with Interdev LLC for IT management services.
We want to take that into executive session.
I think
You want
so.
to take that to
Mhm.
executive session?
I move to.
Second.
Motion to table for executive session by Councilwoman Ramon, second by Councilman Salinas. And moving on to executive session, I'm sorry, all those in favor to table for executive, please raise your right hand. Unanimous. All right, moving on to executive session, item number 11, executive session pursuant to section 551.071, chapter 551, Texas Government Code, consultation with attorney regarding agreement between the City of Eagle Pass and Eagle Pass Waterworks System related to fee distribution allocations, reimbursements, and services to be provided by the parties in order to comply with the city ordinances and charter provisions, and possible action in open session regarding same. We're also taking item number 10 to executive session pursuant to section 551.071, chapter 551, Texas Government Code, consultation with attorney regarding consideration and possible approval of an agreement with Interdev LLC for IT management services. Let the record reflect that City Council went to executive session at 6:20 PM on September 15, 2020. Council came out of executive session at 7:29 PM on September 15, 2020. Moving on to item number 10, consideration possible approval and agreement with Interdev LLC for IT management services. Jesse?
Mayor and council, the recommendation is to authorize the city manager to finalize the negotiations and to execute the agreement.
Finalize and
So-
execute.
Second.
Motion made by Mayor Pro Tem Davis, second by Councilwoman Ramon. Any further discussions? None being, please raise your, all those in favor, raise your right hand. Unanimous. Moving on to item number 11 on executive session pursuant to Section 551.071, Chapter 551, Texas Government Code, consultation with attorney regarding agreement between the City of Eagle Pass and Eagle Pass Waterworks Systems related to fee distribution allocations, reimbursements, and services to be provided by the parties in order to comply with city ordinances and charter provisions, and possible action in open session regarding same.
Mayor, Council, basically just let us go ahead and proceed with the negotiations just as we outlined in session.
Finalize and
And
execute.
finalize.
Finalize.
Motion to approve.
Thank you.
Somebody said it first.
They did, I don't, who was first, you or him?
I did.
Motion by Councilwoman Ramon, second by Councilman Elias Diaz. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Unanimous. Last item on the agenda,
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
motion
So
by
moved.
Councilman Salinas, second by Councilman
second.
Ramon. All those in favor? Unanimous. Meeting adjourned 7:30 PM, September 15, 2020.
Good evening, everyone.